The dark romance subculture is something that can be quite popular and it can be quite naughty. To be honest, I've always wondered more about it. I've just frankly been very scared of it. Trigger warning, I won't include many examples of violence and stuff. I just want to say if you get triggered by dark themes, mature content, anything like that, just feel free to click away. I will put timestamps in the video so you can skip to certain parts if you want. So, what is dark romance? Dark romance is a subgenre of fiction that explores themes of love, desire, and power in morally ambiguous or taboo settings. It is a continuous and divisive genre, with some readers finding it deeply empowering and others finding it problematic or even triggering. Dark romance is very common in books and even movies. To list a few movies, 50 Shades, Crimson Peak, Twilight, Fear, Endless Love, Anna Karenina, Cruel Intentions, the list goes on. And when I was researching for this video, I didn't realise how much of a fan base that it has, and how it is so divided, because you get people who love it, really love it, and then you get people who don't like it, really don't like it. I expect you've heard of the after films and the backlash of criticism people had on the movies and how they were quite made fun of. They were pretty much all over YouTube. After having a bit of thought on the films and the movies, because I actually read the book, not because I knew it was a Harry style fanfic, okay? I didn't know that at the time. So the reason I think that people didn't like it was because, not because of the acting, I think the acting was good, not because of necessarily the way the film was put together, but I think it's because of the relationship between Hardin and Tessa. To summarize it in one word, it's toxic. They would be together 1 minute.
So what, is that it then?
I mean, blackmail, fight, gaslight, and then they get back together again. And when it goes on for 5 films, you start to wonder if they generally are a healthy relationship and should even be together in the first place. Should people actually aspire to be in this type of relationship? There are a few types of dark romances. There's the stalker trope, the high school bullies, paranormal or supernatural, and the ones that are a lot more mature content, which we're not going to go into, but if you want to look it up, you can, but I'm not going to put it in this video because it makes me uncomfortable. According to this Grant's Romance article, dark romance can be categorized into 2 main categories. Number 1, the dubious consent, and 2, the non-consent. Dubious consent stories are those in which there is some uncertainty about whether the characters have given their consent to be in a relationship. Non-consent stories involve characters who do not give their consent and may be coerced into relationship. The power imbalance of dark romance. In a lot of dark romances I've seen, there tends to be a very submissive and dominant figure. The appeal of being the girl who can fix the broken man or tame the beast and is eager to please. In return, has someone who can protect, would do anything for her. In the end, it almost turns into an obsession. Ultimately, a dark romance story is a redemption story, according to this one article I read. Why is there such an appeal for dark romance? I've read a lot of people's opinions on the matter, and it comes across they enjoy dark romance books and movies because of the suspense and thriller elements compared to a more traditional romance story. It's a sense of fantasy that can let you separate yourself from the world. Social media's desire for dark romance. After watching I'm Not Emily's video, which I will leave in the comments below if you want to watch more in depth on TikTok, that side of dark romance, it made me think of how popular it is on social media and how much easier it is now for people to share their fantasies and stories with short form content. I was going to read some, but they made me a little uncomfortable, so I'll just put them on the screen and then you can read them if you fancy. And lastly, the danger of dark romance stories. I think sometimes dark fantasies get a bit lost in translation of being fiction, and especially to some impressionable people, they may think it's normal to do things like you see in 50 Shades. Realistically, it's just a fantasy, and that's not realistic. I know for me, I've read some dark fantasies and they've made me quite uncomfortable, so I've had to stop reading them. And these aren't like deep, these are mainly just teen dramas. Mind you, these were very light romances and there is very deep ones. The other ones have a lot more heavy subjects in than the ones I read. Dark romance stories are highly triggering due to the nature of them. The comment question of the day is, do you watch any or read any dark romances? Would you recommend any? I hope you enjoyed this rather deep conversation about dark romance. I just want to let you know, I'm just sharing my opinion. I'm not professional in this whatsoever. I just enjoyed this subject and found it interesting. And these are just my views. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really like talking to you guys. And I don't know where my rabbit is. is. Oh, he's there. I'll put a picture right here so you don't miss him. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.